As if the world wasn't heel enough already, last week saw two tragic passings in the wrestling industry. 39-year-old Shad Gaspard and 22-year-old Hana Kimura. Shad's body was found on Venice Beach last Wednesday after he was pulled away by a riptide while swimming in the sea. He had told the lifeguards who were trying to rescue him to save his son first. Friday night saw over 500 friends and wrestlers attend a memorial for Shad on the beach, including Kofi Kingston, John Morrison, and his former Crime Time tag partner JTG. And a GoFundMe campaign has been launched to help the Gaspard family pay for bills and expenses, as well as contribute to his son's college fund. In just several days, the campaign has smashed its $100,000 goal, with the total currently sitting at $136,585, and that is largely down to one very generous donation. A huge $40,000 contribution from a name that only reads CTC RIP. This is thought to be from John Cena, who worked with Shad and JTG as part of a 2008 storyline where they vandalized JBL's limo, with Cena spray painting the letters CTC standing for Crime Time C Nation. Further hinting Cena was indeed the anonymous donor, he's posted a shot of that angle on his Instagram where you can clearly see the letters CTC. Other generous wrestler donations have come from AEW President Tony Khan, Chris Jericho, Shelton Benjamin, Cody and Brandy Rhodes, Mick Foley, and Miroslav Barnashev, the real name of Rusev. You too can donate to the Gaspard family by clicking the link in the video description below. JTG has since posted his first comment on Shad's passing. I want to say thank you to all the friends, fans, and family who reached out to me and Shad's family during this difficult time. The outpour of love and support has definitely helped me get through this. I have my moments where I'm in disbelief and feeling a tremendous amount of hurt, but as soon as I start to reminisce about Shad and our relationship, I begin to smile. I have tons of memories of Shad and just us chilling for no reason and having a great time, enjoying each other's energy, working out together, traveling the world together, laughing about inside jokes that nobody around knew about, doing edibles after a show, then binge eating at Red Lobster, and our favorite, roasting each other relentlessly. The relationship that I and Shad had comes along once in a lifetime. If you have a friend or a loved one that you're close to, always try to make an effort to let them know how much you appreciate them. Tomorrow is never promised. Shad and I always expressed how much we appreciated each other in each other's lives, and then follow it up with a good old-fashioned roast, just to balance things out. Shad, thank you for always being there for me. You were more than my tag team partner, more than a friend. You were the big brother I always wanted growing up. The world will remember you for what you are, a hero. Hashtag Crime Time for life. Tragically, Shad's wasn't the only wrestling passing last week, as 22-year-old Hana Kimura also lost her life on Friday, where more details have since come out. Kimura was one of the top wrestlers for the Japanese all-women's promotion Stardom, which has recently been acquired by New Japan's parent company Bushiroad. She was set to be the future of that company, even wrestling in a special Stardom tag match at January's Wrestle Kingdom, the first time that has ever happened. To push her as a star outside of wrestling, she was also a cast member on the popular Japanese reality show Terrace House on Netflix. But viewers of that program turned on her when she angrily reacted to her housemate accidentally shrinking the ring gear she wore at Wrestle Kingdom in the wash. This prompted months of cyberbullying, which eventually drove Kimura to take her own life. After posting graphic photos of self-harm on Twitter, Hana's close friend and current WWE wrestler Kairi Sane saw these posts and tried to get her help. I was able to notice her tweet right away because it was afternoon in the United States by the time difference, midnight in Japan time, and I called Jungle Screamer and Rossi Ogawa with Io immediately. Yona went with all her might, however, I didn't make it in time. Hana-chan, I lost an important, irreplaceable companion. There is a hole in my mind, and it is difficult to accept this reality now. Dave Meltzer has since revealed on Wrestling Observer Radio that Kimura's cause of death was ultimately due to lethal amounts of hydrogen sulfide in her system. There's no way to segue out of these stories into the more kayfabe elements of wrestling news. so we're going to run our new bumper.
Support WrestleTalk!
Support each other. AEW's excellent Double or Nothing pay-per-view on Saturday night might have included the debut of Brian Cage, Matt Hardy's version 1 gimmick, and Hangman Page on a frickin' horse, but the show was missing one kind of teased appearance: Sting. It appears that Sting was amongst WWE's mass releases in mid-April, as Mattel have revealed they had to suddenly pull his new action figure from their Legends Series 7 line for circumstances out of our control. Ryan Satin later confirmed that Sting was no longer under contract with WWE. That seems like a sensible piece of cost-cutting, as Sting hadn't wrestled since retiring in 2015 due to a back injury, but following surgery to repair it and saying he was willing to have a match with The Undertaker, WWE reportedly started working on having him return for February's Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. Those plans obviously fell through, but WWE's loss might be AEW's gain. Cody immediately replied to Mattel's statement on Twitter with his cupped ear gif, and then Sting started interacting with AEW stars Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts on Twitter, being very complimentary about their work and the promotion they do it for. Then, in Lance and Cody's Double or Nothing match, Rhodes even busted out one of Sting's signature Stinger splashes. So many S's in that sentence. He's revealed to Sports Illustrated what's going on. I don't know what his schedule is like or where he's at in this world, but nothing would please me more than to stand in a ring across from Sting. There has been no contact, but that's my way of reaching out. Do you want to see Sting in AEW for one last run? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be replying from out of my self-isolating Mechazord, crushing anyone who dares come within 2 meters of me. Speaking of crushing, Rusev to AEW segue. Thanks for your support on Patreon, Soaring High, Wrestling on Weed. Speaking on his recently launched Twitch channel, Rusev answered fan questions about AEW's Double or Nothing.
But speaking of wrestling though, last night was fun. I got to, I work out every now and again. And I set my TV, my phone, or whatever, and I watched a little bit of AEW. I don't know if that's legal to say. Is it legal to say? I'm looking at my lawyer. Is it legal to say? Yeah, it's okay. You can talk about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I guess I can talk about it. It was fun, man. It was fun watching, especially that main event. Did you all see that show, by the way? It was good. I had fun watching it.
Rusev was released from WWE in mid-April as part of their mass firings, meaning his 90-day non-compete clause will expire in 50 days' time. But that hasn't stopped WWE from still using the people they've let go, in addition to Drake Maverick. No Drakeception. Still competing in the NXT Cruiserweight tournament, and Sarah Logan being invited backstage for an episode of Raw last month to not be used. WWE have now announced also released producer Kurt Angle will be refereeing this Wednesday's cage fight between Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher on NXT. Bro. Which is a fantastic idea given the realistic grappling style match they're going for, but it unlikely means Angle has agreed to stay with WWE. The promotion is still able to use released talent during the 90-day non-compete clause, as they're still being paid, which could mean we'll be seeing a lot of them appear at AEW's next pay-per-view, Fyter Fest. Last year's Fyter Fest took place on the 29th of June, but all the released WWE wrestlers will have their 90-day non-compete clauses expire on the 14th of July. AEW is set to announce this year's pay-per-view date on Wednesday's episode of Dynamite. If they push it back to later in July, that might be a big hint they're waiting for some released WWE talent like Rusev and Zack Ryder to become available. Drew Gulak and The Revival, then The Revolt, now called FTR, are free to appear for AEW as of right now. Tony Khan revealed in the post-Double or Nothing press conference that originally was going to take place in London, but because of the global pandemic, it's just not possible. We had the plans. I thought it was going to be our UK debut. I'm sorry, I wanted to do it. I'm not sure when it's going to happen. It was going to be Fyter Fest. We were going to have this great show, tons of huge matches we had planned. And that's not the only thing Steve Corino has ruined. Apart from, all of society, as the worldwide pandemic is also responsible for the lackluster design for the TNT Championship. The title belt is, in fact, unfinished, as the company making the championship, Red Leather, has had to divert their workforce towards producing respirators and emergency equipment. Once normal business resumes, the title will get some much needed highlights in nickel and gold, as well as a relief TNT logo. If you haven't seen already, mine and Luke's full retro review of NXT Unstoppable 2015, featuring Baron Corbin versus Rhino, an excellent Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch match, and the WWE debut of Samoa Joe, is up for all our pledge hammers on Patreon right now. Patreon is the best way to support us all here at WrestleTalk, where you'll get loads of exclusive content, your name in the credits, and entry into our Fantasy Predictions League where you play against us. Click the link in the video description below to become a pledge hammer today. Or the little P on screen right there. Watch my review of the incredible Double or Nothing pay-per-view by clicking the video on the right too, and watch our interview with Brody Lee by clicking the video beneath that, and make WrestleTalk.com your homepage for all the latest wrestling news. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.